how to create a brand that lasts a lifetime, a legacy, versus something that comes and goes or is only relevant in the short term. So, hi everybody, I'm Neha Chandra, a designer with 10 years experience working across some of Australia's most influential brands. So as a designer, once I completed my honours degree in visual communication and design, I was presented with a crossroads. I could have either gone down the studio agency route, where I had done internships and seen that it was very much pixel pushing for many years, or I was presented an opportunity with the Big Four, using design to shape the future of industries like healthcare, telecommunication rollouts like NBN, agriculture. Not just looking at the farmers, you're looking at the farmers' children's children. When you're looking sort of on that larger systemic level, you have no choice but to think long term and make sure the rigor and everything is there to get to a solution that is very much. So I was presented with those two options, and I took the road less traveled amongst sort of my cohort at the time, to really use design as a powerful tool to create systemic change across businesses. So that experience over 10 years really taught me so much about the power of design, and having worked across a lot of different complexities, a lot of different business landscapes, I am able to bring all of those learnings into what I do today, which is my own business, Neha Chandra Studio, where I serve more small to medium sized businesses, and I use the same rigor of all of the mindsets and methods that I learnt across my 10 years experience, for the big dogs, but I apply that now for my own clients, and I see beautiful results. So today in this video, I'm going to share my 4 biggest about how to build a brand that lasts, something that doesn't need to be refreshed, something that grows and evolves with you as you journey along. I'll dive right in with the first thing being, what is a definition of a brand? My personal definition and the way I view a brand is as a living, breathing entity. So it is not something, like I mentioned, is standalone or static. It is something that no matter where you go or how you evolve, it evolves with you. Think of it like a beacon that represents the soul essence of either a person, like a personal brand, a business, an idea, anything that needs representing. It is that soul essence, that true inner connected core. And once it's conveyed out there to the world, it is that beacon, that representation. With that in mind, I want to jump into the first lesson of branding. And that is that there is no shortcut to building a authentic brand. What I mean by that is I am privy to a lot of the new tools out there like AI that you can just input something and it spits out a logo, and it even can spit out brand systems, colors, typography, tone of voice, all of that. Those tools as an accelerator is something that I'm all for. Using it as a basis is where you see brands that might just pop out short term, but long term it doesn't, in my experience, last. Also, this huge notion out there of brand in a day, a website in a week, and they're like catchy phrases. When you are building a brand, you need to get knee deep, you need to get down in amongst really understanding and following that design process, not in a shortcut way of, oh, this looks good, let's just go with that. Typically, my process is 3 to 4 weeks is plenty from conceptualization to delivery to deliver a solid brand. Next, learning, not assuming anything. So this is something that I learned from the human-centered design specialist that I worked alongside, who really did a lot of work in IDEO, a design foundry that really pioneered design thinking methodologies. And there was one sort of key mindset, which is almost that childlike curiosity, and to not have any preconceptions going into the design process. So no assumptions about it's going to be this way, follow this path. Going into it with just an open view, no silly questions. It sort of takes you somewhere you didn't think, don't resist it. So assume nothing is a huge learning. And funnily enough, that was a key one for us in the landscapes of all of those big clients with so much complexity. It wasn't about understanding the ins and outs of the business. It was about coming in, fresh eyes, like a child, asking those questions. Why do you do things this way? What is, just like a child would ask a million questions with no assumptions. So that was my second one, is assume nothing. Third one is really around trust in the process. The design process, working in corporate space with all of those big businesses and clients, everyone wants a methodology. Design is a discipline. It does have a process. The favorite framework in one career is the double diamond. So if two diamonds side by side, diverging, just get blue sky thinking, get stimulus, get activities, ideas, mood board concepts, no constraints. And then there is a moment of converging. Well, this, but you're not this. And let's diverge again. Testing, prototyping those ideas. And then you get all of that stimulus and input and converge again to finish the last end of the diamond. What that looks like in another format is mess and then a singular output. Your brand, your deliverables all wrapped up beautifully in a bouquet. There are going to be moments of what is this? Where is this diamond in the rough? Trust in the process. If you have someone guiding you through, designer that knows what they're doing, they will be there to hold your hand, take you through and be like, we've got this. Don't worry. There is something that's going to come out of this. And then my last key takeaway, it's the if you know, you know. There is a moment in the refinement stage where everything starts to make sense. It starts to fall together. And when you kind of hit that, be the logo, the core essence, the colors, not only do you know as a designer, but your clients know, and there's no re-talking about it. There's no going back, revisiting. If you followed the process fully and wholly, getting down on your knees, digging deep, you excavate that truth, and that is when that's it, you're done, you know. And that inner knowing is a really exciting piece because you move forward with that confidence and clarity. And I love seeing that moment for clients because it's just a clear winner, something singular, tangible, that beautiful shining beacon, the diamond in amongst all the rough that has been pulled up. So those were my 4 key takeaways from my experience about how to build a brand that lasts a lifetime, lasts generations to come. Having worked in the space where we couldn't just implement solutions that were short term, reflecting the heart of what has been said. So I've brought all of that knowledge into 4 things that I think can be applied to any brand or any outcome. With those 4 key takeaways: no real shortcuts, assume nothing, trust in the process, and if you know, you know. That's it from me today. I would love to get support by following, liking, commenting. That would be amazing. So thank you, and until next time, ciao.